Hi guys, and welcome to an Evolve Stage 2 video. Now, as I promised, today we are going to be looking at the community views of Renegade Abe. Now, Renegade Abe has been out for a few weeks now, and I thought I'd just do an after video after a few weeks where he's been out and people's got a chance to play him. And I just wanted to take a look at people's opinions. What's your opinion of Renegade Abe? Do you like him? Do you hate him? What is the pros? What are the cons? What are your reasons? What is your opinion of Renegade Abe? Now, fortunately, some of you have very kindly sent me a message with your own thoughts about the character, and I thought I was just gonna have a look at them today, and we're gonna just see what everybody's thinking at the moment of Renegade Abe. Okay, let's start off with the first one. So this is from Planet Evolve. Now he watches my videos. I know he'll be watching this one. And I know he was actually looking forward to me highlighting what he had to say. So let's have a read of what he thought about Renegade Abe. So Renegade Abe is a very unique character for two main reasons. He is the first variant in Evolve that has changed classes from its original character. Furthermore, focusing on poisoning, he brings something different to the table compared to the other hunters. I think he's really fun to play with, but time can only tell whether or not he will be a viable character in competitive Evolve matches. Okay, thank you for that, Planet Evolved. Let's have a look what he said then. So, he's the first variant in Evolve, and that is true. Not the first variant, what the hell am I on about? The first variant that has changed classes from its original character. So, obviously, through all the other characters that we have had in regards to Evolve, all the new ones that we've been given, Rogue Val, Tech Sergeant Hank, Quantum Kyra, all of those characters, they have been variants of the same character, and they belong to the same class. So obviously, like Tech Sergeant Hank is a support, like Hank is a support. But obviously, Renegade Abe, he, instead of being a trapper, a variant of normal Abe and being a trapper, he is an assault. And I think that was a big thing for most people, that, you know, he's different. That was a completely new thing. Nobody was. I think some people were kind of expecting, but I don't think a lot of us were expecting. I certainly wasn't. And if you watch my video, I was very surprised when I found out that he was an assault. So yeah, I think that was really interesting, and I think a lot of people enjoyed that. And now obviously they've got Paladin Parnell as well, and they're obviously doing a lot more of these things. And also poisoning, yes, he is the first hunter that actually poisons, and he actually debuffs the monster. Obviously, you know, the poisoning means he's very good on the chase. So after a battle has ended, you just keep getting shots into him, and all that poison damage keeps draining the monster's health. And particularly, monsters tend to run when they're out of armor, so you tend to get that damage on their health as well. And I do agree, yeah, he is really fun to play with, and obviously you've got this revolving motion with his abilities that you have to be aware of. Obviously with the grenade and his debuff dart, and obviously his shotgun. So yeah, so thanks for that, Planet Evolve, and let's move on to the next one. Okay, in the next one we have Cortex HD, another one of my fellow viewers, and I was actually playing a few games of Evolve with him the other day, and we had a blast, which was great. So his opinion, he actually points out more of the strategies and things, and obviously he likes that part of Renegade Abe, that you have to actually, you know, there's actually a strategy to how to play him, rather than, you know, just using abilities whenever you want, for example. So he says, well, I would say that he has a good burst damage per second, but his starting rotation will be to start the fight with a grenade, followed by the dart, then pepper him with the shotgun, and repeat. The reason being is because you want to help your team take less damage with the grenade, and then buff your team with the amplified damage from the dart. The shotgun is just your filler, since the shotgun doesn't do much unless your damage is amplified by the dart. So obviously, like I've said, Renegade Abe works in this revolving motion, and obviously we've got this pattern that is suggested to use. It's not the only one, which I'll explain in a second. It's not the only one, but obviously we've got this grenade. So the grenade, what the grenade does, it adds a poison damage to the monster, but it also decreases the amount of damage he can do. So using that first means your team's not taking as much damage. You then use your toxin dart, which then amplifies all damage to the monster. So your team are taking less damage. So to begin with, so you're trying to minimize the amount of damage the monster can do immediately. Then you're adding that damage, buff for your team, so they can add extra damage. And then obviously you have your filler, your shotgun, which does the poison damage. So you've got this rinse and repeat kind of motion. This motion of going through all the abilities and using them in a specific order, which does take some getting used to. I personally struggle with scrolling through the weapons sometimes. Obviously, that's something you have to get used to, and having something like swap speed when you're running your perks, that's always helpful to, it's always helpful to get through your weapons very quickly. Okay, so he talks about the strategy. The other strategy, you can start with the dart because that amplifies the damage. If you want your team to get that damage in straight away, then go for your grenade to stop him doing more damage. But I suppose, I don't know, because you're doing it so quickly, and if you hit the monster every time, there's not really much in it. So, I mean, it's preference. It's up to you. What would you like to start with? I mean, even start with the shotgun if you want. But obviously, as he said, if you use the shotgun without the other damage, without the buffs and the debuffs, it doesn't do much damage. He also goes on to say, hopefully this is helpful for your video. I also believe he is good. He is a good champion, but he requires a good understanding of his kit, like we've just said. Without doing a proper rotation, his kit seems weak. But a good Abe Assault can carry most games by buffing his team's damage while also debuffing the monster's damage. So we've talked about that, the buffing and debuffing. Lastly, he has great chase with the dart since he does damage over time, the best damage in the game. That is instant to shot. It is just a little tough to land. So we're saying Renegade Abe is a little bit difficult, but he does, like I said before, the poison, because he uses poison, he's great on the chase. So when the monster's running away, you can still get that constant damage. So that was from Cortex. So thank you very much, Cortex. If you want, same with the Planet Evolve. They both do videos, and I really recommend you check them out. I know this is a shameless plug, but I know they'll appreciate it. They do some really good stuff, and it'd be nice if you check them out. So I'll put their links to their channels in the description below. Okay, let's move on. So these next lot of opinions come from the Turtle Rock forums. So obviously where people just talk about anything and everything that is evolved. So if you want to voice your own opinion, which is what I'm just doing, but putting it in a video. If you want to write about things, if you want to complain about things, go there and get your voice heard. Okay, so Javisaurex. Now, not everybody is completely, Renegade Abe is the best assault ever. But some people do have some issues with, because he may be good, but that also provokes some issues with some people. And Javisaurex says, coming from a hunter play, so from a hunter point of view. So basically he says if the monster chooses damage reduction perks, obviously that makes it very difficult for any hunter team to try and kill it. I have experienced a Wraith fight and it took forever to try and kill him. But obviously he says if the monster doesn't use that, then Renegade Abe will win it all the time. He basically says that Renegade Abe is 3 classes in one. He says he's an assault, a support, and a tracker. His damage is absolutely insane when combined with the right perks. In my opinion, he is now the best pick out of all the assaults. So obviously he says he's clearly the best pick out of all the assaults, but he's basically saying Renegade Abe is overpowered. Now obviously he puts a list here, you'll be able to see it, of what highest damage output, poison damage, amplifies damage done to monster, reduces damage done by monster, constant reloading is the trade-off. So basically he's just done a list of his pros and cons basically. So basically he said the only disadvantage of Renegade Abe is the fact that he has very little capacity. He only has one shotgun. He can fire all of his pellets at once, or he can fire them in 2 shots. So the trade-off is a lot of reloading. So obviously that's something you need to take in consideration. But it doesn't take, his reloading time isn't very slow. You quickly just quickly putting them all in. So basically, overall, he's saying that Renegade Abe is overpowered. So let's have a look at what some other people that I've went through this post and found some other things that people said to obviously contradict or have contrast with what Javisaurix is saying. Speaking of contrast, we have Magnus Medic, who said straight away, I personally think he's fine. Most assaults have high damage in one weapon, but Renegade Abe has medium damage everywhere. Now, I'm more inclined to this view that I don't think he does tons and tons and tons amount of damage. I agree. I think most assaults have a specific weapon that is for damage dealing. We've got Markov with his lightning gun. We have Lenny with the punchy thing. And who else have we got? We've got Hyde, flamethrower. They have their specific weapon that is the the main damage dealing weapon. Whereas Renegade Abe, you have to utilize everything he has in his kit for him to be effective. So he says Renegade Abe has medium damage everywhere. Now, before the next one, they talk about what to do in regards to addressing the overpowered nature that Javisaurix talked about at the start. Keep cutting, Reg. So Girthzilla says, obviously this was somebody was saying, why would you nerf Renegade Abe's overall damage to stop him from being overpowered? But he says, I'm not saying to nerf his overall damage. I'm saying buff his initial shotgun damage, so make the shotgun more powerful. So he's slightly better in domes. Yeah, okay. So make the shotgun more powerful. After that, nerf the damage over time. His dots, damage over time, take too much health away on the chase, in my opinion, which makes chase comps able to take a bar of health or even more with just Rabe's damage over time. Okay, so that is interesting. It's nice that he's actually suggested, okay, so some people think Renegade Abe does too much damage, but here's my opinion of what he should do. So initial shotgun, so the shotgun damage, so you're saying basically increase the damage that the shotgun bullets do, but decrease the amount of damage the poison does. So that's quite interesting. So he's saying he tends to find that, obviously, like I've said, Renegade Abe is very good on the chase, but he's saying he's almost too good because you can take almost a bar of health away. Now, personally, when I've played, I could get a half a bar if I'm, and that's when I'm chasing him and constantly shooting him. But I don't know. Maybe Turtle Rock have tweaked him it. I'm not aware of if they have. But no. But that has been everybody's. A few people's opinions, people who watch my video, which is, it's been nice to feature some of your stuff. People on the Turtle Rock forums of what their opinion of Renegade Abe is. And, some people like him, some people think he's a bit too much. But yeah, overall there hasn't been any negative. Nobody said, oh, he's boring to play, oh, he's too slow, you know what I mean? Nobody said he isn't good enough. People have saying he's almost too good, which I don't know. I think it's better for him to be a bit overpowered and then to reduce him than him to be underpowered and then have to increase it. I just think it's probably easier that way. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm actually going to be playing some Battlefield 1 beta soon, so stick around if you want to have a look at some of that content. Other than that, if you want to keep updated, follow me on Twitter as always. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I shall see you next time. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.